Hello, everyone, and welcome to CCA's Medical Minute Podcast. I'm Sherry Hughes, and I'm so happy to have you all with us today because we have a couple of really cool guests, some friends of mine from Melanoma Know More. We're going to be talking about skin cancer. We're in the middle of summer, approaching fall, really, but skin cancer is something that we need to think about year-round because it's just that important. So joining us today is Rene McPhedran with Melanoma Know More, Executive Director. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Good to have you. And then you brought a friend, Alex Burkhart, who is a board member, and also you are a melanoma skin cancer survivor. Yay! That's so great. I'm glad you're able to say that. Welcome.
Yes, no, thanks for having us.
And so we're going to be talking to you and finding out a little bit, Alex, about your story. But first, we really want to get to the nuts and bolts of things, Rene. We want to make sure that people understand what are some of the key important facts with skin cancer, things that they need to be aware of and things that they need to be doing. What's most important that you want folks to know about skin cancer?
Prevention and early detection. It's a very preventable, skin cancer is very preventable. The best way to do it is to protect yourself from the sun and to, go to a dermatologist once a year. The reason this is important is 1 in 5 people will get skin cancer in their lifetime. And while there's 3 different skin cancers, melanoma is the most deadly. And even though it's, a small percentage of skin cancers, it accounts for 75% of the deaths.
Yeah, so that's really important for folks to be aware because skin cancer is the most common form of cancer, and you know what? If detected early, then there are great outcomes. So let's talk about your great outcome, Alex, because we want to hear your story. I heard that you were engaged at the time to be married, and it was your fiance that actually discovered something that didn't quite look right.
Yeah, I was literally just getting changed one day, and she goes, "What's on your back?" And it was like a pink, kind of almost like a interesting little mark. And I said, "I don't know." And she goes, "Well, when's the last time you went to the, skin doctor?" And I said, "I've been a while." She goes, "Well, call." So I called, and you know how it is typically. It's a longer wait. Yeah. And I think it was about 3 months until I was able to get on the list. And it got closer to the time, and all of a sudden I had a big meeting that popped up, and I actually wasn't going to go. And so she was like, "No, you're going," right? Because she's had a history of friends, and actually why I'm involved with Melanoma Know More is one of my mother-in-law's really good friends lost her son to melanoma, and so she was like, "No, you're going." And so went and got the initial results that said, "Hey, we need to do a further biopsy here," and was waiting kind of anxiously for the results. And it was about 3 days before our wedding, and the doctor called, and when the doctor calls, that's right. Typically, all right, better pick this up. And he was like, "Alex, you have a pretty advanced form of melanoma." Wow. And I was like, "I think I've heard that term before. That doesn't sound good. And you need to have surgery." And I was like, "Okay, well, my wedding's in like 3 days. Maybe when I get back." He's like, "No, you need to come now."
Wow.
And I was like,
it was that quick, that urgent.
It was literally we got scheduled for, that was like 6:00 in the evening. It was next morning, 6 a.m. and had the surgery.
So you were a part of what we call early detection. So you had surgery to have the melanoma removed. How are you doing now?
Great. Yeah, it was the operation, they went in, they cut a lot out. I had about 16, 17 stitches. And so everybody kind of laughed, during my wedding. I was kind of wincing in pain a little bit when people were slapping me on the back saying congrats. I even, on our honeymoon, we were in St. Lucia, and a couple of my friends saw me with like a shirt on, and they were like, "Hey, have some fun." I'm well, little does everybody know, I actually didn't tell a lot of people I had this pretty advanced surgery. And now, other than my big scar when I'm swimming, that I tell my kids that is a shark bite, that's about all that really happened to me.
Yeah, it's that badge of honor, I'd like to call it. But he was in St. Lucia, and we know that, when folks are out in the sun, they're trying to soak it in. But the sun has very harmful UV rays. And one of the most important factors with melanoma, Rene, as you know, is UV ultraviolet rays. But that factor is controllable, correct?
Yes. There's less things you can do to prevent it. Wear an ounce of sunscreen, to cover your whole body, and apply it, 30 minutes before you go out. Reapply every 1 to 2 hours. You can wear a hat. It's easy. There's beautiful hats. You can look very stylish wearing hats. Wear sun protective clothing like Alex did on his honeymoon.
So what I love with your story, Alex, is that you had someone that actually saw it, someone important to you in your life that saw this and said, hey, you need to get that checked out. Rene, do you find that, you know what, people are kind of like really knowledgeable about skin cancer? Do they know what to do? And you said to me earlier, it's like any other cancer. If you see something different, then you got to immediately get it checked out.
So if you have a mole that looks weird, don't wait, like Alex did. Call immediately. And one of the things that we do to help people, it's very hard sometimes to get into a dermatologist. We do monthly free skin cancer screening clinics that are supported by hospitals and doctors and nurses that volunteer their time. So, if you can't get in to see your dermatologist till Christmas, we can probably get you into a clinic. If something is found, we can expedite the treatment after that. And, it's just the best way to do it, early detection.
So, Alex, now that you are in the survivor land and you understand, because you had this very large thing, because that's a large thing, something very significant happened. How has it helped you to be able to help others? Because I know you're now on the board of Melanoma Know More, but tell me a little bit about what drives you now to help others.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like you said, it's confusing. Like everybody's like, well, I had something, I got it removed. And it happened to me when I was younger. Like had a couple of things that were just frozen off, no big deal. But knowing that there are forms that can be very, very significant. Everyone from friends and family, I'm almost getting calls all the time. Hey, just have my appointment. It's on the books. And everything came back really well. And that makes me happy that more people, even in my small circles, are just taking it more seriously than they did before. And I think that's what's so great about the organization. If we can continue to spread that message, like, yes, hopefully most of the times you're completely all right. But if you can just catch that one time from it advancing to that next level, it can save a life.
And speak to us, Alex. You're a young guy. You're a young man. So a large part of the population, younger, men and women or whatever, sometimes they just think that, when you hear the word cancer, any sort, that it is just not something that's going to happen with them, to them. How do you speak to that for those that are, in your age bracket that, may need to adhere and get all their screenings and know what is possible for them in terms of, these cancer diagnoses?
Yeah, I mean, it's like with anything, you can build a bad habit of like, okay, I got burnt one time, I was okay. I got burnt again, no big deal. But it's just really saying, hey, how, with anything in life, can you just be a little bit more proactive? What's it hurt to put a little bit more sunscreen on? What's it hurt to wear that hat? Like I was at the tennis tournament yesterday, and just anytime I could find shade, right? And it's the little things like that that can go a long way, because you're okay until you're not, right? And so just little things like that. My message is, doesn't matter if you're older, younger, just more times than none, if you can find the shade or put more sunscreen on, it could save your life.
That's good suggestions there for folks. And Rene, from the work that you do, that because you have this job, that there are a lot of people out there that are not.
Well, and just to speak to what he said too, it's the second most common cancer for ages 15 to 29. And the most common cancer for ages 25 to 29. So you think of people getting skin cancer, later in life. The other thing that's really important, and I know that Alex and I are practicing this too, we probably weren't that safe when we were young, but if you get a sunburn early in life before 20, you're 50% more likely to get skin cancer. So we slather our children like crazy, and, just to, as Alex said, it's like wearing a seatbelt. It becomes a habit. You don't think about it, and it's for your own good.
Yeah, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, in the Carolinas. There are lots of sun, lots of water, beaches or whatever. But even as a little kid and as a woman of color, sunscreen has been a part of our lives ever since I can remember. Because it doesn't matter. I like to tell people, really, people with lighter skin pigmentation oftentimes have more incidence with skin cancer, but even people with darker skin can get a skin cancer because, the sun, those rays are just that harmful if you're not protecting yourself.
Absolutely. It's a myth that only light-skinned people get melanoma? No, everybody can. So just protect yourself.
So we want to know what's going on with Melanoma Know More. You guys got things coming up now that you want to invite folks to come to and
we
participate?
have some fun things. Yes, come to get your skin screened monthly, but we've got a gala coming up that's great fun, and it's Jimmy Buffett themed because unfortunately we lost Jimmy Buffett to skin cancer. So that's September 13th. We'd love to see you. It'll be a fun party. We're also raffling off a trip to Key West, even more fun. And
where's it being held?
It's being held at the Manor House. Information is on our website, and if you're interested in just volunteering or supporting, just give us a shout or get on our website.
Thank you for that. Alex, you became a volunteer, but of course now you are also on the board. What are some of the things that you find so very important, the work that you're doing with Melanoma Know More now within the community?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, it's all around awareness, right? It's just something that we don't keep top of mind. And so, like I said, I started literally just passing out sunscreen at a Melanoma Know More event with the Western and Southern Tennis Tournament at the time. And then from there, it just, continued to expand, right? It showed up to other activities. And then when they asked me to get involved at a greater level, and it just keeps going from there. And so loving every bit of it and continuing to want to just spread the message that they've been spreading for years.
Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing, boots on the ground. And I'm so happy that you are a survivor and that you're, down in the trenches trying to help others as well. One more thing that I want to touch on, Rene, we talked about the sunscreen, but there's so much of it out there. So it's like, you go into a store and you see a shelf that starts and goes forever. How do you know what is the best type of sunscreen, that you should be wearing?
The best type is the one that you'll wear.
Okay.
Make sure it's SPF 30 or above, and it'll prevent against both UV and UVA rays. But do an experiment. Everybody has like their preferred skin lotion. Try a couple of them. Sample, see what you like, see what works for you. There's every type whatsoever. There's types for every skin color. There's types for sensitive face. So just, pick one and use it.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you so much for being here, Rene. And thank you as well, Alex, for just, sharing with us around skin cancer and melanoma. It's so important. Get that sunscreen. Make sure, I always put some body lotion on, and then I put a little sunscreen on as well. Mix it all in. I hope that's good.
Absolutely.
Hope that works. So do that and make sure that you're always taking care of your skin, because skin cancer, as I said earlier, is the most common form of any cancer out there, and it can be preventable if you're, taking the necessary precautions. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Medical Minute, and we will see you the next time. Share it. Also follow us and help us get the word out and join our boots on the ground, getting the word out about safety and protection with skin cancer.